You would think that a period of time where you don't have a functioning laptop because it's in for repair is going to be a time of annoyance, aggravation, maybe a little bit of sadness and depression, but I've always felt fortunate that I was born in one of the final generations that knew how to have fun on and offline. And let me tell you, I was under the impression that, well, I'm not going to worry too much about the computer because even if I did have it, guess what? I'm going to be at a water park convention. I'm going to meet new people. I'm going to drink my ass off. I'm going to have fun. And I'm also going to see the new Spider-Man movie when it comes out because it'll come out like the day after I get there. What could possibly go wrong when I get back? Fuck my life. Okay, so it's come to many people's attention that Gwendolyn's color scheme involves a lot of pastels, and her aesthetics involve a lot of pastels, including the dimension she's from. Like most spider people, there is some artistic flair or aesthetic contributed or designated specifically for their dimension. However, because there's also been signs involving trans rights relating to Gwendolyn, people have decided that not so much Spider-Gwen in this case, aka Ghost Spider, is a trans ally, but she is in fact herself trans. I'm sure it won't even take, a full 20 seconds of YouTubing or Googling to realize that whatever idiot decided that it was objective fact. Hence why I still have a problem with confirmation bias because, well, we end up in situations like these. People deciding things are true because there's no one there telling them, hey, idiot, you're wrong. Or, hey, sorry, but this is an assumption, this is not a fact. Please do not present it as such. That's enough of how I view things. Look, I haven't had a lot of time since my computer got back. In fact, I think I've only clocked in maybe six and a half hours. And of those six and a half hours, 4 of those hours have been doing research for this video. Half an hour has been getting one of my best friends to understand that every time I say something to you that's a term of endearment, you decide that it's venom. No, not the symbiote one. And that it's not intended to be that way. And also, you haven't actually told me what needs to happen or what needs to be said to get you to understand this is coming from a place of love, or get you to care that that's where it's coming from, because you've just decided any slight insult is in itself an attack. However, I do not, think that same way when you do it to me. Yay, I'm having a life issue. Or I guess first world problems would be a better term, right? So look, I went through almost every interview that there is. I even went through some behind the scenes footage. And in an effort to not drag this video out with my own personal opinions or confirmation bias, which I think at this point I almost kind of sort of refuse to do when it comes to stuff like this, I want to make it understood that even though this is a 2-cent video, which usually features me asking questions that don't have an answer,
on by a different artist.
Gwen's world looks like Gwen's comics, which have this beautiful gouache watercolor pastel vibe that looks like this.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Her world changes based on her moods. We visit Miguel's world in 2099 of Nueva York, which is based on the sort of 70s and 80s Sid Mead drawings of the future, which have this sort of aspirational quality that also has a kind of unfinished look to it, where you could see the lines under it. One thing that this film has special about it is that we can really lean into how each world and each character that comes from that world can have their own completely unique style and look.
There's 1,000 people that are going to be in the credits of this movie.
Actually?
Huge,
Yes.
1,000.
huge crew.
1,000 people, this massive crew.
Wow.
Biggest animation crew ever.
It looks like magic. But what's really happening is like 1,000 people are working super hard for like 3 years.
or me giving a revelation to a question that already had an answer. This is a little bit different because it's simultaneously not political, but political. There are so many things that you can attach to this. But I'm going to put the one thing that's most important, the goddamn truth. So here it is. No bullshit. There is nothing in concrete writing that is stated whatsoever that the Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, Sony/Columbia Pictures in association with Marvel 3D animated movie is in fact featuring or has as a supporting character/co-star a trans female Spider-Man/Spider-Woman. And the only people that think that are people who want to get attention and assume that that's what they're doing, when in fact they haven't said one way or the other. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that this is a LGB plus code, queer code, gay coding, whatever term fits in involving the codings. But here's the thing. I'm not saying you're right and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that there was nothing ever described and everyone's just making assumptions on how they feel or if they can get clicks and attention and likes, whereas I'm digging for the truth, which happens a lot with a lot of political stuff. People will say I'm left because I agree with a lot of that stuff, and people will say I'm anti-right because I habitually notate the long-winded history that right and right-leaning ideology has on the civil rights of non-Caucasians or non-Caucasian males. When I've said, possibly since as far back as, I want to say 1999, before I could even vote, I'm not too concerned with who's left and who's right. I'm concerned with who's right and who's wrong, and how to get more people that are telling the truth and honest in the politics and not be surrounded by, well, the opposite. And that's it. There is no concrete confirmation that Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, is anything other than a trans ally. And it is weird that there's an automatic assumption that saying and stating that you're a trans ally means that you're LGBT plus in some way. I'm heterosexual. I have friends that are lesbians. I have multiple best friends that are bisexual. And I have friends that I work with or will be producing media with outside of YouTube stuff that, as far as I know, have pretty much been gay 90% of their life. And I'm not going to stop being their ally. I know to side with the GOP when it comes to major elections and minor elections is a very small butter knife in the back. Yeah, let's call it a butter knife in the back. And I know more progressive leaning ideology usually involves egalitarianism and civil rights for everyone, not just some of the people. And as a not lifelong, but most of my adulthood being an egalitarian, I am naturally going to lean towards everyone getting fair, respectable, and civil treatment and trying to remove as much privilege or special preference to said equal treatment as possible. But that's it. That's just as far as I can go. I can only go as far as making a video with proof no one has said the thing that everyone is saying has been said. I can't say that everyone's wrong. Gwen is in fact, without a sausage, because that hasn't been stated. Normally it would go without question, but specifically because of this movie, now it's up for questioning. So they either need to reaffirm that Spider-Gwen is male or Spider-Gwen is female, and that the gender is different. And feel free to show this video to any curious person, any disrespectful scumbag, or any person who just wants to make money off of something they think is true because they're too lazy to do what I did. It took me, of the 4.5 hours of looking and doing research, a grand total of 15 minutes to find out why the colors are the way they are. If it was a secret coding or not. It's not. And it took me 2.5 hours to scrub through some footage. Yes, I've seen the movie, but obviously I don't have a physical copy of it or a digital copy of it to find all these supposed references that were implying or stating outright that Spider-Gwen was in fact, trans. By the way, they don't exist. There is proof that she is an ally, and I'm okay with that. People just want to assume something someone said or how someone feels and wants things to be is reality. And confirmation bias can never become reality. Because if it is, that means reality is malleable and everyone who has a thought can rewrite it. Peace.